Boys and girls, listen again. This is for grown-looking girls who's only 10. The ones
bout number 11. Bout number 11 is a mixed martial arts competition scheduled for 3 4-minute rounds and is being brought to us by Miller Lite and All About You Plumbing and Heating. First, fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in at 155 pounds, representing PFA out of Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada, Connor Derry. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also weighing in at 155 pounds, representing the Wolfpack here in Great Falls, Montana, James the Ox Ogden.
We're up for our next event. It's Great Falls fella versus our Canadian friends. So it's a USA versus Canada fight, 155 pounders.
Yeah, both guys come from good clubs. PFA up in Canada, they're a great, solid club. They got a good coach, Brad Wells, our coach up there. He's a really a great kickboxer and is a good kickboxing coach, and he's also breaking into jiu-jitsu and stuff, and he's a very good coach. So this should be a great fight. Two solid fighters, two solid teams. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, both kids are trying to work their way up through the ranks, eventually wanting to go pro someday. I talked with both of them. Their aspiration to be a pro at some point in time, so this is one of the ways to get there.
Touch of the gloves and we're underway.
Stalking each other a little bit, a little tentative, trying to loosen up. Now we're starting to get a few jabs.
Both of these fighters have a few fights under the belt, and nice shot and takedown. Excellent takedown by James Ogden. He really timed that takedown well, right underneath his punches, and excellent.
Looks like Connor's trying to tie him up and make the referee stand him back up on their feet. Obviously, I know Connor has a strong stand-up record. I believe he was a boxer at one time in Canada, Cal?
Yep, he definitely has a boxing background, and I'm assuming that James Ogden team did a good job doing some research and seeing what they were dealing with.
He's doing a good job of getting back to the fence and using the fence to stand up. James better be careful. He's got a guillotine starting there. He's got to watch out. He's got his head right where it's not supposed to be. If Connor gets his arm wrapped up underneath there, we could have problems with James.
They're right in James's corner, and Leo Brassear's there in the corner instructing him step by step. It's always an advantage to be right in your own corner. That helps out a lot.
Connor's got a little butterfly going there if he wanted to use it, but he's trying to stand. Giving up his back a little bit. He's going to have to be careful. James should be striking. Now we're looking at a choke. Fighting that choke, but James has got it in pretty deep, Cal. Maybe not, maybe not. Look at that look on Connor's face.
His chin's tucked. He doesn't have it underneath the chin.
Nope.
Connor's doing a good job utilizing the cage to not allow James to get his leg up and over and get both hooks in. It's really important to glue that hip to that cage so you're able to stand up without risk of getting your back completely taken.
Nice stand up there by Mr. Connor. I don't see any striking while they're against the fence.
And James doesn't want any of that stand-up. He is definitely looking for a takedown, looking to make this a ground fight, which is taking Connor's strength away from him, which is a great strategy.
Oh, we got a guillotine. Connor's got a guillotine on James. How deep is it? Looks like he's got a pretty tough one on there, but he's against the fence, so he can't utilize his hips.
James wants to be able to tripod up. He wants to put a lot of his hips up high in the air and get his head down buried. And James is out of the guillotine.
Well, let's see what kind of defense Connor has on the bottom. Good groundwork. James has kind of reversed it a little bit, and he's on top now fighting.
He's moved to side control, James has.
It's going to be interesting on the judges to see who's going to win this first round here.
I see Connor doing the same thing he did before, utilizing that cage to stand up. That's what he's looking for. He wants to be on his feet. He does not want to be on the ground.
And it looks like James is trying to utilize his knee to trap Connor's right arm so he can start raining down some blows. Looks like he might have it.
James also used a few of the shoulder strikes when he was in that position. Sometimes that's a good sneaky little move to land some points and try to do some damage on your opponent.
Well, they're kind of in a static position right now. Now, our referees won't let them stay on the ground forever, ladies and gentlemen, if they're not working.
There's another shoulder strike by the Ox. Again, Connor gets up. Again, he uses the cage and glues that hip. Back up to their feet.
Nice.
James is looking for that takedown, and that's the end of round number one.
End of round one. Very exciting first round. Hard one to score, though.
Very hard to score.
And Connor Derry, how'd you score that first round?
It was a really tough round to score. It was very close. I think James was on top, in control more, so I think James took that first round if I was judging, but it could have went either way.
Connor is once again from Canada. James is from Montana here. Great fall.
Again, right toward that takedown. We know where James wants to be, and that's not standing with this boxer.
Big takedown. That was a big one on the judges' scorecard.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful takedown. Let's see how he can work out of the mount now, or half guard, I guess. He's in half guard.
Half guard. It's I'd like to see a little bit more work from James on the top. He got the position he wanted to be. Now he should try to do something with it for sure.
He's not striking. He's just wrestling right now. Well, gets a few points for the takedown, but he could sure add some points to his total by pounding on the ground there a little bit, hence the ground and pound we call it.
Yeah, if James is working on passing guard and working on striking, then Connor has to worry about defending that and isn't at free will working on his stand-up and working on his ground game. So James definitely needs to try to be a little bit more active. He's going to try to maintain this position.
Well, I think they're both in good shape, but this is hard work fighting off the ground like this. James has got some opportunities to strike, and he's not taking them. He's giving his head up a little bit for that guillotine. He's got to be careful.
Connor, again, is working himself toward the cage. He's going to utilize that cage to stand up and go back to where he wants to be, which is on his feet.
Well, James's game plan definitely, as we can see, is to grapple, and he's doing a good job of that. He's been keeping Connor pretty much on his back for this round and the last round. Again,
they end up in the red corner, close to James Ogden's team, so hopefully they're going to be able to give him some information to better his position and land some strikes.
Yeah, not much is happening on the ground, although James is controlling.
Looks like James is trying to push that leg down, trying to pass guard. As long as they stay active, they'll let him fight here, but as soon as there's a break in the action, it's going to get stood up.
Yeah, we've got a little butterfly there if Connor wants to use it.
James has got Connor's arm trapped underneath his waist, which makes it very tough to do much at all. It kind of pins you down. So Connor's definitely going to have to work on getting that arm free. And he does.
Now, trying to stand up. Come on, gentlemen. We want to see some strikes.
Looking for an underhook. Again, back to his feet.
Now he's using that cage. He's pushing off a little bit, keeping James at bay a little bit. Mm-hmm. Now let's see what happens. James looks like he's tired a little bit. Maybe he's getting catching his breath.
This is a tough position to end up. Fighters end up here quite a bit. There's some submissions from here, but I think Connor's game plan is just to get away from him and utilize his boxing.
Yeah, and we haven't seen much of that. James has done a great job of keeping glued to him and not letting him use those hands.
Yeah, sometimes strategy plays a big part in this game for sure. And if you know that you're going with someone that has a solid stand-up, you might want to just take it on the ground and keep it on the ground.
Well, as we're seeing, the grappler is outdoing the boxer right now, the striker. But I think James might be getting a little tired. If we go to a third round, I don't know.
It's definitely a lot of work to try to keep someone on the ground, just like it's a lot of work to try to get up from the ground. So these boys are both working real hard.
Well, once again, I'm wondering what the judges are going to say. I think they're going to probably say James is controlling the match. He hasn't done a lot, but he probably will come out ahead in this round.
That top control is a big thing in the judges' eyes. It's tough to score submission attempts, which there haven't been any but a few guillotine chokes. We got 10 seconds left in this round. Looks like Connor's trying to slip a leg. He's got a triangle locked up, but it might be too late for this round, which it is.
Well, nice try. That was a good round. let's see what happens in the third, Cal.
Sounds good.
Cal, this is our round number 3 of our, we call it Bout 11. James Ogden, Connor Derry. James is in the black with the yellow, and Connor's in the black with the white. We got Canada versus Great Falls. Heck of a first couple rounds. I think James might be ahead on the judges' cards, Cal.
I'm assuming Connor definitely knows that he's behind, and he knows that he needs to do something pretty significant here to win this fight.
Well, it's close enough maybe to say whoever wins the third round is going to win the fight, you think?
I would agree. I'd be leaning toward James won the first and second, but you never know with the judges' scorecards. Again, right to the takedown.
Yep, that's scoring big in the judges' eyes. That's 3 or 4 really significant takedowns in the fight. So, and once again, Mr. Connor is on his back, trying to defend.
Yeah, it's James definitely had a game plan coming in this fight, and he's definitely executing it here tonight. He knew that he didn't want to hang out on his feet with the boxer, and he knew what he wanted to do, and he's doing it.
Well, if Connor stays here much longer, the fight's going to kind of get out of his grasp. He better get looking to stand or to reverse the position a little bit here. But James is a strong wrestler. Those Wolfpack guys, they all are got a good wrestling background.
I think Connor's energy might be better spent looking for a submission here. He's obviously is not able to stop James's takedown, so we need to catch him in a submission to win. So I think after seeing that triangle choke set up and him getting in that position, that his energy might be better spent looking for that submission.
Well, if James keeps doing what he's doing, he should win the fight. If he makes a mistake, gives up an arm or his neck, might have a different set of circumstances. I see Connor's trying to use wrist control there to maybe sneak a leg over.
Yep, trying to push that arm pass to get that leg over top of the shoulder and set up a triangle choke.
I'm glad to see James striking a little more. Watch those elbows, though, amateurs. He's getting a few more strikes in, so that's good in the judges' eyes also.
Well, if he wants to maintain his position, he's going to have to start throwing some strikes. Otherwise, Brett's going to stand this fight up.
James is kind of cruising on top there. He looked over at his coaches and said, I'm all right. I don't know if Connor's trying for a Kimura there, but it looks like he's trying to maybe get a Kimura on that other side there.
Looks
Cal.
like he's definitely trying to isolate that arm, and that's definitely what he needs to be doing. He's unable to stop James's takedown, so now we got to work with what we have and try to get a submission out of this.
Well, he's got plenty of time. There's plenty of time left in the round. James is taking a little chance staying there. He needs to get punching, yeah. Can't quite see it if he's got that Kimura. Doesn't look like he's got it locked up.
It looks like James had his arm straight. It's really tough to finish that Kimura with the arm straight, so he's defending it properly, and Connor's going to have to start from scratch again.
Well, once again, if you got somebody in your guard and it's not keeping him from striking you, you've got to change. You've got to do something. And right now it looks like, yeah, back to their feet, Cal. Here we go. This could be some fireworks this last few seconds of the round here.
Well, Connor should be swinging for the fences for sure. That was kind of it looked like James just stood up. That was, I don't know what his thought process was as far as standing up is concerned. That takedown was stuffed by Connor.
Yeah, it looks like James is slowing down maybe a little bit. He's been exerting a lot of energy with these takedowns and ground and pound. Now we've got a good scramble on the ground, but once again, Connor's on his back. James is taking control again. This is a tough one in the judges' eyes for Connor.
Connor looks like he's trying to slip around and take James's back. That's a tough, he's already high on him. That's a tough task ahead of him to get that for sure. Oh, he gets up underneath. Oh, gets underneath him.
Needs to get that other hook in. Needs to pull James towards him a little bit and open up this side instead of trying to crawl around.
Oh, he's got it locked up. And James slips out.
Nice defense by James. He's got a strong resilience there for the neck choke.
And that's the end of the fight.
Oh, well, what do you say, Cal? I think James might have pulled it out.
30-27 James.
You think so? Unanimous maybe? We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Wait for the results here. It's up to the judges.
Our judges have come to a conclusion. All 3 judges score the fight the same way. Your winner, fighting out of the red corner, James the Hawks Ogden!
Well, Cal, it's just like you called it. You said you thought James might win it by unanimous decision, and you called the score exactly, 30-27.
Yeah, it's tough to, when you get that top position, you maintain it. Here's some of these great takedowns done by James. James was timing the strikes and slipping underneath them very well. It's a big score when you get a big takedown like that.
Well, like I
right
said,
underneath, up, and takedown, right into side control.
James kept Connor on his back almost all the fight. If you stay on your back, you can't utilize your boxing.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to be a boxer when you're laying on your back.
Well, let's give the Wolfpack some congratulations to James for a great fight. Once again, he controlled the fight from the top.
Great strategy.